A while ago, in my WizKids Dungeons & Dragons Adult Black Dragon review, I said that the two I most wanted to get were the red and the black. I was perfectly happy to rest on that. Well, surprise, surprise, guess what? I was able to acquire the blue dragon at a very cheap price, so it's what we'll look at today. Now, of all three WizKids Adult Dragons so far, this is the smallest. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's also the worst painted. Fortunately, it's also the cheapest. Now, I got this secondhand for about US $35. The original price, I believe, is US $69.95, and I definitely would not pay that. As you'll see later, the sculpt again is really very good, and I have nothing to complain about there. It's really down to the color. And there are two main problems. First, put it very simply, the overall effect is that of a dragon that's pale yellow as a base, with blue applied over that, and then the paint touched water, and much of it ran or smudged. So what you have is a rather diluted appearance of a dragon that's gone through too many washes. I have no issue with full bands of color, for example crossing here and here, but here in the wing fingers, if this had gone all the way instead of stopping halfway, you might imagine it's part of the design. The stark inconsistencies in these wing spots are especially unfortunate and would have looked a whole lot better if excluded entirely, leaving just the fades. Of course, spotted wing membranes are a feature of the blue dragon, but if you see this picture, you can see how a fade like these would not have been too much to ask for. Unfortunately, the way these blue spots are done makes it look too polka dot for my liking. I do wish they'd kept the spots as a darker mottling of brown, like you see in these depictions. And second, the inexplicable use of this very stark indigo ink staining parts of the dragon. Look especially here in the ear. It's like a kid literally took a magic marker and colored it in. Or see here in the face. And here. And down in the neck, there are bits of that ink here. And here the blue also bleeds into these dermal plates, making it look like an accident. I do like, however, the use of a sand color. Blue dragons inhabit sandy regions, so this sandy color complements that idea. For example, here in the wings, and the keratinous bits. Alright, I wanted to get that elephant out of the room so we can move to the pleasant stuff, where this dragon really shines, and that is the sculpted detail. Compared to the red and black, the blue dragon has actually retained many features from their first edition look here. For example, that single large horn, these Gojira-like dermal plates, and also the frilled ears. The neck is thick and relatively short. Now, these are all features you'll see here, and that's one thing I appreciate about these models. They're representatives of the D&D dragons, so in a sense to me, they are the official traditional dragons. The single horn has a very realistic keratinous appearance, as it built up by the laying down of material over time. The teeth and the spiky bits in the jaw are there too. And so too, these frilled ears. Each D&D dragon has its overdriving quality. The red dragons are the most ferocious, and the black the most cruel. The blue dragons are the most manipulative. Now looking at this open mouth, I somehow see not a kind of roar, but imagine a cunning smile as it plots and gets up to no good. I also like the unique form of these scales, which, as you can see here, differs from that of the red dragon and the black dragon. Going down the arms, again that unique scale structure. Just love the look of these forearm scales here. The very spiny arms. Down to the claws, where again you see that indigo ink effect here on the manus. Otherwise, I just love the way this shoulder and latissimus area is sculpted. Really muscular and almost anatomically plausible. Of course, I also like how the waist narrows here, looking like a supermodel with a nice waist-hip ratio. The wings are sized a little smaller relative to the body than in the red and black dragons. Still, this is the smallest dragon so far from the line, and you can see the body itself is smaller in size. As before, the structure and also the texture, for example here in the wing membranes, are differentiated from the other two, which is a very nice thing. I do like the fade in the dorsal wing here, from the light blue to the sand, and then blue again, which at least looks like a deliberate intention. And on the ventral side, you have this fade. Down the thigh, the legs, then the feet, again let down by that ink-stained appearance. The tail is again very nice, and I know I keep saying this, but it's really a very good sculpt. And very uniquely different from the red and the black. The overlapping plates are broad, reminding me very much of the Monster Hunter creators model Lagiacrus. So that's it really. You have the same base with the white circle denoting the space the dragon takes up on a D&D grid map. And underneath, faintly marked, Adult Blue Dragon. Now, some comparisons to blue dragons I have. First has to be my very first McFarlane dragon, this Series 7 repaint of the Warrior Dragon. Also in a much paler blue, this Series 8 Eternal Dragon. Finally, I have this creator's model Lagiacrus, which isn't really strictly a dragon, but in the Monster Hunter lore, a Leviathan. So that's it for the WizKids Adult Blue Dragon. Not my favorite, and I'd definitely not pay high prices for it. But if I could get someone to repaint this, I know it would look really amazing. We'll just have to wait and see. Now the last two chromatic dragons, the white and the green, have crazy expensive aftermarket prices now, so I'll probably only get them if I can get them at reasonable prices. Which may be never. We'll just have to see. I'll see you soon with another video.